Book 3. Limber Loagaeth and the Angelic Alphabet. Limber Loagaeth. The second phase of Dee and Kelly's magical operations remains, for the most part, a tantalizing mystery to modern students. Covering most of 1582 and 1583, it is a period characterized by considerable tension between the two magicians, but one that also produced a large body of work in the form of a book referred to at various times as Liber Mysteriorum Sextus et Sanctus, the Book of Enoch, and Limber Loagaeth, 68. While in recent years Enochian scholars have courageously set out to give us a closer examination of this information, it unfortunately has not been enough to allow modern practitioners to develop anything near a workable system from this material. One of the reasons more attention isn't paid to this period is the nature of the material itself and the nearly complete lack of direction concerning how it is to be applied. We are all, of course, free to our own religious convictions and spiritual worldviews. After all, they are part of the magical artist palette of tools. I think it wise, however, to keep in mind that when we study the Dee and Kelly material, we are not only eavesdropping on questions framed in the minds of two 16th-century Englishmen and put in the context of biblical literature, but we are also hearing the answers to those questions given in such a manner as these men could understand, that is, framed within the same cultural and biblical context. I'm sure if Dee had been a Chinese alchemist or an African shaman in these same circumstances, the angels would have communicated the same universal answers unencumbered by the apocalyptic nomenclature familiar to the Jewish or Christian mind. Joseph Peterson wrote in the introduction of his marvelous book John Dee's 5 Books of Mystery, "The importance of Limber Loagaeth cannot be overemphasized. From it would be restored the holy books, which all perished and from the beginning, and from the first that Liud. The truths it contains will end religious disputes and restore religious unity." Amazing indeed, but as I wrote concerning De Heptarchia Mystica, it is only a matter of time before someone cracks the code of this breathtakingly immense body of work. What do I mean by breathtakingly immense? One surviving manuscript comprises 48 leaves, each containing 49 x 49 lettered squares, 115,000 lettered squares in all. Each square was filled, letter by letter, according to Kelly's vision. In the end, the magicians were left with 49 calls in an angelic language. Note, these calls were not the same calls in the angelic tongue that would come later and form the centerpiece of the Enochian phase of Dee and Kelly's partnership. Kelly's visionary skills were severely exploited during this period, and his visions were characterized by the presence of a dazzling light that both magicians could see. The light would fly out of the scrying stone and penetrate Kelly's head, putting him in a trance in which he could read and comprehend the text of Limber Loagaeth. He was, however, forbidden to translate it and told that God would later provide the translation. At the end of the session, the light would leave Kelly's head and return to the stone. When he returned to normal consciousness, he claimed to have no memory of the experience. As tempting as it might be, I am, for the time being, not incorporating any of the calls from Loagaeth in my Enochian magic preparation ritual.